It's Ash from Super Videos back for another trailer breakdown for The Walking Dead. In this one we're going to be breaking down the trailer for part B of season 11. This trailer is called So We Could Survive and it's obviously for the next 8 episodes. Stay tuned, we'll be right back to break this down. Alright, as always, before we jump into this, if you're not a subscriber and enjoy the content by the end, consider subscribing to join our community, share and smash the like button and press the bell to be notified when we upload on the channel. With that said, let's dive right in. So this trailer actually starts with this shot of the aftermath of the storm that hit Alexandria in the last episode. So we could see fire in some places of the Alexandria safe zone as a result of the lightning that hit, and we can obviously see a lot of dead bodies, a lot of walkers, and the survivors cleaning up, burning the bodies and things like that. We can see Daryl here. He's at Alexandria obviously and he's watching the bodies being burned. Now one thing I do want to mention here is that throughout this trailer we see everyone that was at the Reapers camp. We see Daryl, we see Maggie, we see Negan, and we see Gabe. So we know all of them are gonna survive. So the cliffhanger of the last episode was pointless because we know no one's gonna die. The only character that's not in the trailer who may have died is Elijah, who is actually injured as well. So they may actually end up killing him early in the next episode. But then we get this shot of Daryl talking to Gabe. We'll see that in just a little bit. But Daryl says just thinking about choices and he'll complete that sentence in just a little bit. We'll come back to it. But we have a small scene where Judith actually sees Daryl coming and hugs Daryl. So it's a mini reunion right here. And it's obviously after Daryl and everyone else got back to Alexandria after the battle at Meridian. And then we have this shot of Negan, this shot of Maggie looking up at someone. I'm assuming she's looking at Negan here. But in the voiceover, Daryl says, do they even matter anymore? So choices, do they even matter anymore? So he's really questioning the choices he's making and whether any of this means anything. I'm assuming this is a result of being backstabbed by Leah in a way. But then we have this shot of Jerry at Alexandria and then this shot of Commonwealth soldiers showing up. I'm assuming this is them getting to Alexandria, but I could be wrong about that. But then we have this shot also of Commonwealth soldiers breaking into some sort of a building, and then this shot, and then we have this shot of Gabe. Now pay attention to where he's sitting. This is actually exactly where Daryl was sitting as well, so this is how I knew that Daryl is talking to Gabe when he said the thing about making choices. But Gabe responds with, depends on who's making the choice, which is a pretty cool and interesting response to what Daryl said. But then we have this shot, which is interesting. We have Lance Hornsby coming downstairs to meet Eugene. I'm assuming this is at the jail site that they have at Commonwealth, but I could be wrong. But then we have this shot of him looking at Eugene. He's not too happy. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with Lance and whether my theory about him playing a trick on the survivors, specifically Eugene, is accurate or whether I got it wrong. But then we have this shot of Lance. He says, it is my honor to introduce you to the governor of Commonwealth, Miss Pamela Milton. So this is some sort of an event at Commonwealth and Lance Hornsby is introducing everyone. But what I do want to mention is that we do see Stephanie here, the real Stephanie obviously, but other than that there wasn't too much else that I noticed here other than obviously Lance making this announcement in front of a lot of people who I'm assuming are politicians or higher up ranked people at the Commonwealth. But then we have this shot of none other than Pamela Milton, who's obviously the leader of Commonwealth. We know a lot about her based on the comics, but it's going to be interesting to see whether they stay true to any of that or not. But what we know for sure is that there's a lot of play acting when it comes to this community. Like they're putting this show for everyone and she's acting like she's this very rich politician, which is actually a big part of what happens in the comics. So it's going to be interesting to see whether they follow through with the comic storyline. And then we have this shot, which is interesting. So we have Daryl and Rosita, and we see Mercer. So this is definitely when the group gets to Commonwealth. It's gonna be super interesting to see how everyone is gonna react to not only seeing Commonwealth, but seeing the soldiers, seeing Mercer, seeing Lance, and Pamela Milton. And then we have this shot of Carol. Again, this is from inside the Commonwealth, so we know a good chunk of the survivors are gonna leave Alexandria and go to Commonwealth and try to find some sort of a partnership between their communities. But in the voiceover, someone says so many didn't make it. This shot of Daryl sneaking around, trying to figure out what's going on. I'm assuming this is somewhere at Commonwealth. Princess and Eugene running somewhere. And then in the voiceover, we have someone saying, all so we could survive. So people had to die so that we could survive. This goes back to why this trailer is called So We Could Survive. Not sure why Eugene and Princess are running and where they're running to, but it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with them. And then we have this shot of Maggie looking at someone walking into Alexandria, and if you notice, there's black and white on the right, which means that this could be a Commonwealth soldier walking into the Alexandria safe zone, which backs up what I said earlier on about Commonwealth getting to Alexandria in that particular shot. But obviously Maggie looking at the Commonwealth soldier has a lot of meaning, especially if we look at the comic book storyline. And then we have this shot of one of the Reapers. I don't know his name, but he was very close to Leah, so we know he made it out of that situation. So we definitely know that Reapers are going to carry on into at least one episode after the previous episode, but the extent of it and how long they're gonna last is up in the air. And then we have this shot of Leah looking at someone. I'm assuming this is her at Meridian, but someone in the voiceover says, and we will, so we will survive. I think that's what they're saying. But that's pretty much everything that was in this trailer. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, make sure to share and smash the like button. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe to join our community and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video.